Hello, people of the interwebs. Today we're going to be making a quick and delicious pork carnitas tacos in our crock pot. I'm Chef Cash White, and I'm here today because God delivered me from my circumstances and put me in a place where I'm able to share my love of food with you. All right, everyone, today we're going to be making some delicious pork carnitas tacos in our crock pot. Remember, the list of ingredients are going to be down below. We're going to be going kind of fast. If you get behind, just double click on your mobile device to the left-hand side of your screen and it'll rewind it about 10 seconds to repeat what we just went over. So we're going to start off with our veggies. I'm going to start off with one white onion. I'm just going to do a rough chop on this. So we're going to cut the bad boy in half, cut the end off, take our top layer off. If you get the second layer, that's fine. You just want to make sure you get all of the onion paper off. Give a little cut here. Guys, if you check out some of my other videos, I have some technique tips and tricks that you can watch on dicing onions, tomatoes, those kinds of things to help you get a little bit of experience in this. You don't necessarily have to be fast. It's better to be accurate than fast. All right, so that's good. We've got half an onion, half of a large onion. Maybe a whole medium onion, that'll work. We're gonna add 2 jalapenos. Cut the ends off right here. The stem, we don't really want that. Cut these bad boys in half. Okay guys, all of the capsaicin, the stuff that makes it spicy, is right here in the middle. This membrane and these seeds carries all that capsaicin, or most of it at least. If you want your tacos spicy, leave it in. If you wanna make them a little more mild, take it out. I got a couple kids that are gonna be eating on this, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. Just cut it out like this. You can use your fingers if you want, but make sure you wash your hands if you touch this stuff. Because if you touch your eyes or something afterwards, it's not going to be a pleasant experience. All right, so with these peppers, guys, I'm just cutting them into chunks. Since we're cooking this in the crock pot, it's going to cook for quite some time, so these are going to break down for the most part. And we want to get all the good flavor out of them. The big pieces will actually leave a little bit of pepper left in there. Okay. 2 little cloves of garlic right there. Take the side of your knife, give it a little pop, pop off the paper. All right, give these a little run through. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a rub for our pork. I'm using a shoulder blade roast. You could also use a pork butt, bone in, bone out. It doesn't really matter. I like this roast because you have 2 pieces of meat. It has a good marbling, which is gonna make a nice texture. All that fat's gonna dissolve and make it nice and juicy. We're gonna start here with about 3 tablespoons of kosher salt. Now I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of cumin, tablespoon of granulated garlic, tablespoon of dried oregano, about a tablespoon of fresh cracked black pepper. Now just get a little mix with your finger. Make sure you get it all nice and mixed up. All right, now we're gonna give it a nice coat on the outside of this guy. Don't be bashful. You're gonna be cooking this for a long time in chicken stock. So a lot of this stuff is actually gonna come out into the broth, but you're gonna wanna adhere as much of it to the meat as you can. Flip it on the other side. Get it over on the sides like that. And you're gonna look like that, just coated on there like that. Perfect. Now the next step is we're gonna saute the vegetables. And we're gonna sear the pork. Get you a large saute pan. Get the fire going. I'm using a little 50-50 oil here. That's half olive oil and half vegetable or canola. I'm using half vegetable oil. So we get the flavor, but we also get the consistency of the vegetable oil. Give it a little coating right here. Spread it around evenly. And we're gonna wait until that gets nice and shimmery so we know that the temperature is right. Start with our onions. Add our peppers and garlic. Mix it around like so. A little sprinkle of salt on there to sweat these guys. Get all those good sugars coming out, all those oils coming out, and then turn it down to about medium high. While you're in there with your spatula or your wooden spoon or your tongs or whatever you're using, kind of split those onion chunks up a little bit so they can cook. The idea is you want them translucent, but you also want a little bit of char on them. You want to kind of give them the idea that we're braising this. What a braise is is it's cooking at a low temperature in a lot of liquid over a long period of time. Usually when you start a braise, you char something on the outside to give it a little bit of toothsomeness, if that's a word, a little bit of bite, a little bit of texture. Okay, I'm bringing this over. This is the inside, this is the crock of our crock pot. I'm actually gonna pour this directly into here. You guys will see how easy this is in just a second. All right, so you see how we have a nice little browning going on the outside of some of the peppers and the onions? It's exactly what we're looking for. We're just gonna take that guy and we're gonna put it right into our crock. We're gonna get a little char on our pork. One of my favorite pieces of equipment in the kitchen are my tongs. I suggest going and finding a really good set of tongs. We got a hot pan already from the vegetables, and we're just gonna lay this guy down like this. And that's the sound we wanna hear. We're literally charring the outside of this. We want it to have like a little crust to it on the outside. The salt, these seasonings will be seared, almost burned on the outside. If you need to add a little extra oil on there after that, that's fine. In order to get the right char, usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. That'd be what, 180 seconds? That's a lot of Mississippis. See that nice burn char on there? Beautiful. We're gonna flip this bad boy over. Do the same thing on the other side. It smells good. Beautiful. You guys see that on the bottom? Take the top off my crock, move the vegetables all out to the edges like that. Put this bad boy right down in there on top of those veggies. And now chicken stock. You can always make your own, but if you run out like I do from time to time, just go to the store and grab some. It's fine. If you guys want to learn how to make chicken stock or vegetable stock, take a look down at some of my other videos. There's going to be one down there. Pour this chicken stock right in there. Pour it along the sides. Don't pour it over the top of the meat. You don't want to wash off all that crusty goodness you spent all that time building. So the idea is whenever you pour the stock in, you want to cover about 3/4 of the meat. Now we're going to take our lid, throw it on there. We're going to put it over here. So we've got it on. We're gonna let it cook for about 6 to 8 hours. Check it after a couple of hours, see how it's doing. If you need to flip it, go ahead and flip it. And while we're waiting on that to cook, we're gonna make some slaw for the topping and a delicious sauce to go on top of it as well. All right, now we're gonna make a beautiful red cabbage slaw to go on top of our pork carnitas tacos. We're gonna start with a head of red cabbage. We're gonna cut that bad boy right down the middle. We're gonna cut this into really small little pieces so that way it's easier to toss into the slaw and it goes well on the taco. So I'm gonna cut it like dicing an onion. I'm gonna make a slice all the way down like this and another one, not all the way to the end. Then I'm gonna cut those bad boys into segments. Then I'm gonna cut it this way, as thin as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just gonna add those to our bowl. Toss that around a little bit, break it up. All right, next thing we're gonna add is a little red onion. Same way you cut that cabbage, we're gonna cut the red onion. A couple slices like this. We're gonna cut it across like this. We want them about 1/2 inch to 1 inch long strips, so we'll cut them real thin. All right, that'll be enough. So right now it looks like we got about 2 cups, maybe 3 cups of cabbage. I'm gonna add about 1/2 cup of red onion. I'm gonna take a little fresh cilantro here. Let's say about a cup of fresh cilantro. I'm gonna chop it up, just nice and rough, just give it a once through. All right. Toss that right on top, and we're gonna get a lime. Mash this lime down to get that pulp broken up, get that juice ready to flow on out. Okay, now it's nice and soft. We're gonna cut it in half and squeeze that juice on in there. I like to rub the top of the lemon up against the side of the bowl to get all of it out of that pulp. You'll get a lot of extra juice doing that. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of vegetable oil, probably about 2 tablespoons. And I'm gonna season it with a little kosher salt, probably about 1/2 tablespoon, teaspoon of granulated garlic, and 1/2 tablespoon of cumin. Give that a nice toss through. Once you get it all tossed together, get those seasonings all the way mixed all the way through there, give it a little taste, see what you think. If you need more lime, need some more salt, be able to tell. pretty on point. Maybe a little bit more salt. We got that bad boy made. Let's throw it in our refrigerator. We got our slaw made. We're gonna throw together our sauce for our tacos. We got a little bit of mayonnaise here. We're gonna put about 1/8 of a cup of fresh cilantro in there. Lime, mash it, roll it, make sure it's nice and soft. We're gonna squeeze that on in there. Okay, about half of a lime on there. Pinch of salt. A little bit of pepper. And mix that up. You're gonna mix it up until that lime juice incorporates with all the mayonnaise. It's gonna be kind of watery on the edges, that's fine. Just keep mixing. Mix it up until you get the right consistency. Just about like that. It's gonna be great on our tacos. With those in the fridge, we're gonna wait until our pork is done cooking. We'll be ready to rock. Okay, our pork's been in about 6 hours. Let's take a look and see where we're at. Look at that. See the way it falls apart with that fork? It's exactly what we want. So, what we're gonna do now, just get in there with your fork, 2 forks, and shred your pork up. All right, now that we got that pork all nice and shredded up, let's brown our tortillas. I like to use white corn tortillas. They tend to have a better texture, especially when dealing with street tacos style tacos. You could use flour tortillas if you like, or yellow corn. They're just fine. Over here, we're just gonna get a regular non-stick pan. We're gonna heat it over medium heat. The reason you use a non-stick pan here is you don't want anything burning onto it, because you don't want to add any liquid on here. You don't want to make these soggy. You just want to brown the outsides and warm them all the way through. Really gives them a nice texture. So heating these up without the magic of editing looks like this. But with the magic of editing, this happens. It's a beautifully hot brown tortilla, just right there. You want to brown it just a tad like that on each side. See how it starts to puff up like that? That's what you want. All right, let's go plate some tacos. We have our beautifully brown tortilla. We're gonna take some tongs, get you a few ounces of that beautiful pork. Oh, it's so tender and juicy. Lay it right down in the middle. Now we made this slaw. We're gonna top it with a little bit of this slaw. Give it a nice crunch, a little freshness and some citrus. Then a little bit of aioli on top of that. Finish it off with a little green onion just for some color. This is our Crock-Pot pork carnitas tacos. Guys, if you like recipes like this and want to keep up to date on all those things, click subscribe down below. Also, if you want to know more about me and how God has delivered me from my circumstances, look at our other videos. Any questions, comments, concerns, or testimonials you might have, go ahead and add those in the comments down below. Now remember guys, the most important part, always keep the faith, enjoy the food. God bless you guys. Love you.
Let's start over because I need to get that rolled out. Hello, people of the interwebs. I'm Chef Cash White, and I'm here today. Wait, that's the intro, right? Start from the intro. Hello, people of the interwebs. I'm Chef Cash White.